Welcome to the Kyero.com Spanish Property Podcast, where we interview people who recently purchased a home in Spain. They tell us what worked, what didn't, and what they'd do differently next time. I'm Beth Davison, and today I'm speaking with Juliet and James from London, who purchased an apartment in the centre of Barcelona. Fearing they'd be bored in the countryside, James and Juliet were excited by what a busy Spanish city could offer and treat their place as a weekend getaway, with great atmosphere and delicious food just a stone's throw away. They worked with estate agent V. Urbain to find their dream home in Spain. Check out the show notes at kyero.com/podcast to find links and resources mentioned in this episode.
Hello, my name's James.
And I'm Juliet.
We purchased together an apartment in Barcelona, Spain, with the help of Urbain.
So it's a two-bedroom flat.
It's in the Ribera district, which is a part of the old district, very close to the Gothic area, very central.
Very close to the port as well.
Very close to the port. It's situated conveniently within about 15 minutes walk of the port, and also the market, Santa Caterina, and the cathedral is only about 10 minutes walk.
There's lots of restaurants where we are, isn't it?
Conveniently situated for restaurants and lots of tapas restaurants, and also bakeries and coffee shops, and ease of getting around as well is important. It's very centrally located, so you don't need a car, you can walk anywhere.
Lovely. It sounds excellent. So how long ago was it that you guys had that first conversation of, shall we buy somewhere in Spain?
Oh,
we made several visits to Barcelona. I think you've been about at least 4 or 5 times. I've been about 3 times.
Last year.
Yeah, so each time you went back to Barcelona, you thought that this would be a nice place to buy a retirement/investment property. Obviously, our main residence is in the UK in southwest London, but we just felt that would be a nice place to go to. And the convenience of being able to fly across there in under a couple of hours. And from the airport, getting to the apartment is probably only about 45 minutes door to door.
Yeah.
And you were already city dwellers then, living in southwest London. Did you know that you wanted to be in a city? Did you know specifically it was Barcelona you were looking for? How kind of focused was your search?
You know, I've had friends sort of buying places, sort of villas in the middle of nowhere, lovely with a swimming pool, fantastic. But the trouble is, after about 3 days, I get completely bored. The countryside, I'm from East Anglia originally. I'm a country boy, but I kind of got attuned to city life. And therefore, I quite like being in a city. And also, from where it is, we do plan in July to go a little bit outside the area of Barcelona. We booked a holiday going
Costa Brava.
Costa Brava, yeah.
And a bit of where Pyrenees is.
Yeah, so from there, it's quite easy to travel out of the area, and also you could be in France.
Lovely. But you spend the majority of your visits, obviously, in Barcelona, but it's a nice springboard to go and visit other parts of the country and further afield.
Yeah, because there'll also be a situation where other people are going to want to go and stay there. At the moment, we have no short-term intention of letting it out. Financially, hopefully, we won't have to do that. But it may be that in about 12 to 16 months' time, we decide to do that if we find a good tenant, which would help us out with.
Fantastic. And so how long have you had the property, all told?
How long have we had it? Only a matter of weeks.
Oh, wow.
We signed a contract on the 31st of January this year.
That's very recent.
But I started looking, August 2017, last year. And then I saw one, and James saw one as well. We went back there backwards and forwards in November. Flat that we were going to buy. It was quite near... Where was it, James?
It's for La Rambla. Basically, it was a much more touristy area, if you like, a bit much busier area. That was actually our first choice, and the current property we purchased was our second choice. But having had the situation where the first one fell through, we're quite glad in a way. We prefer this.
We prefer where we are now.
We prefer the locality, a little bit quieter. Very close to a big church, Basilica de Santa Maria del Mar. So you wake up in the morning with the church bells ringing. Quite nice.
Lovely. I think everything happens for a reason, with property. When things fall through, it does always tend to be for the best. Yeah,
it's for the best. It was the way it was going to be. So there we go.
So how many viewings did you go on, do you think?
How many viewings?
Okay, shall I just say? I think I've viewed, the old properties that they normally would say, resale, I think they call it. Like they haven't really refurbished the whole building, so there are no lifts. And the plumbing and stuff like that. So I viewed 10 properties of those kind of properties.
Subsequently, I went with Juliet to look at the properties or the ones where we narrowed down. And as you said, we did narrow it down to something that had a lift. We're not spring chickens, but we're not old either. But then again, who knows, in a few years' time, I might get a little bit worse arthritis than I got at the moment, and therefore need to be able to get up in a lift.
Yeah.
When you're 75, 80 years old, you don't want to be going up 3 flights of stairs.
The thing is, I mean, the price-wise, all the resales is about, half of the price of the refurbished ones. And then, you still have to do the water, electricity.
We didn't want to have builders in there, doing a lot of work on a place, or something that had been done substandard. So it was a very, very narrow choice. In fact, they only narrowed it down about 2 or 3 properties in total.
Yeah, I did view somewhere, can't remember, Diagonal, wherever it is, or Publisec, that area, but I didn't really like the area. So we've settled for this, which is really, a good area.
And you've mentioned Beerbane, the agency you used. How good were they at finding things that fitted your quite specific search criteria?
Well, I think they kind of know from the very start that what we wanted. I mean, the 10 properties I've been talking about, the resale one, they're not from Urbane, they're from a different estate agents. And then I kind of I didn't really gel with the estate agent by which time. So when we went back with James, I preferred Urbane's properties because they're more of the refurbished ones, and they're clean and everything. And we gelled together.
They were very proactive in finding things.
Yeah.
They didn't send us, or certainly didn't when I went. They didn't send us to anything that we wouldn't be interested in.
They know us, I think.
They knew our sort of conditions are what we wanted exactly.
They kind of talk to you, and they probably sized you up and everything, so they know which properties they would show you rather than just mainly. And
I think actually on top of that, there probably isn't a massive amount around. To be honest with you, it's quite a popular city. I think a lot of stuff's been snapped up, and there aren't that many places being done up, refurbished, to that kind of standard.
Right.
Yeah, they're very good. I mean, from looking from the lawyers, lawyers, mortgage, what else do they do for us?
For you. They can arrange to have the meter readings done if you want. They attended already. They've attended a residents meeting. There were some things that had to be sorted out, ironed out.
I think they call it VIP, whatever package. I can't remember what the package is. They did us. They.
Well, it's a post-sales thing as well. I mean, the other thing is they haven't sort of put a limit on it. They haven't said, well, there's a hand holding for 4 weeks and then that's it, because they know there's 1 or 2 issues that had to be resolved. Quite minor ones, but mainly to do with the sort of equipment and things like that, and the air conditioning is a little problem with that, which they're sorting out. Hopefully by the time we go out, which is this coming weekend, Sunday.
I was going to ask, when are you next heading out? So what are your trips like when you go out there? How long do you tend to spend?
Well, so far, we've actually only been out there once to stay there. We went for a week, but it was a bit of a working week. We spent half our life in a department store buying pots and pans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, the duvet.
And duvets. I think it would be handy if we spoke a little bit more of the local language, actually, but we're going to have to work on that. This time we're going out with our 2 daughters, and one of them speaks pretty good Spanish, so that will help.
We're staying there for 4 days.
4 days, Sunday to Wednesday.
But we go back again in May. It's every month.
Every couple of months, we'll be able to go out there. And the idea is also to be able to leave enough stuff there that we can travel light. We'll leave clothes and bedding there. There's a washing machine. The laundry can be done there. And also Urbane would arrange for a cleaner to go in between visits if we need her.
Fantastic. So you treat it as a kind of proper city retreat just when you want to get away. And obviously you're taking family to visit if your kids are going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is it big enough? How many bedroom did you say it was?
It's 2 bed. I mean, the second bedroom has a really good size, sort of king-size sofa bed. The main bedroom also is a king-size bed in there. And within the living room, if you wanted to really squeeze another person or 2 in, you could do. But I think it'd be a bit claustrophobic, personally.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. There are 3 balconies. 1 balcony off each bedroom, off each room, should I say. Which is big enough to sit in. I mean, you can't really have a barbecue or anything out there. The roads either side, bear in mind our property's at the back, not the front, they're very, very narrow. They're only about 10
all of them are like
10 or 12 feet wide. So very narrow.
Very Spanish.
Yeah.
And did you have a budget in mind? I haven't asked you about budget yet. I've just realised. Did you know how much you wanted to spend, and did you manage to stick within it if you did?
It went up and up and up. Well, the first time I went there, so I have no idea how much a property would cost there. So I kind of like say, right, this is the budget, James. It's 200 and I've got, was it 250 at the first time? We kind of like say 250,000. And then I realized that 250, that's euros, 250,000 won't get you anywhere. So we kind of like move it to 300, isn't it?
Yeah, we moved it up, and then we thought to ourselves, it would be quite nice to have a second bedroom.
Yeah, that's
only
like
as a family, and so that was the great thing about this is there was the second bedroom. It's not too cramped.
Yeah.
And then we looked at ways of financing it, and we realised that the way we could finance it, we might just stretch a little bit higher than that. So we did.
So I mean, as I said, Urban found us. That they've arranged everything for us in the space of November, isn't it, when we kind of like decided?
Yeah, they were very good.
They were very good. So
they pushed it through.
If you think November would start, but by the time you say yes to this property, November, December, that's, with the mortgage.
Really fast, yeah.
Yeah, and also they did negotiate with the vendor that, that we were deadly serious about buying this property, because the first one had fallen through, and he was giving us a little bit of flexibility on the timing of it. Obviously, he could only hold out so long, but he knew we were serious and we paid a deposit, so he waited for it to happen.
Fantastic. Now, of the whole process, which parts would you say you found the most challenging?
Oh, shall I tell you?
Well, I know. I could be honest with you. You haven't asked us this, but I'll tell you that we financed this property through roughly half of it's been financed through a Spanish mortgage and half through a UK mortgage.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
interesting.
And we thought the Spanish one would be the ones that would have trouble with, but it wasn't.
It's the UK.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention the company, but they were very slow.
Eventually, it was all sorted.
Yeah, it's taken.
The challenging one, I think, are when we were getting is it called NIE number?
Yes.
That kind of thing, that you have to have it before you purchase. And that was quite challenging because we were not there. And the solicitors did everything for us. But it got to a point like this really ridiculous because we went to the embassy here. Do you remember that bit?
Yeah.
And it was just that was
a little bit disorganised.
It was so disorganised. And it's
you
here
need a lot
in
of
London.
patience for that. A lot of patience.
And then the power of attorney, that was quite okay.
Yeah, that was also through the Spanish consulate here in London.
Yeah, but I would suggest that if somebody's going to buy a property there, apparently this is what I heard, it's much better to do the NIE here rather than there in Spain.
Interesting. Okay. That's a planning and organisation thing. So to arrange to do that in the UK before you go through the buying process in Spain.
Yes, but you must have a very good solicitors to really kind of help you out with it. If you're doing the NIE here, that would be my suggestion. You have to have a good solicitor. Luckily, we do have that. You even have to phone the embassy here.
Yeah, it's I would recommend getting somebody to approve a solicitor over there. I mean, which is what we did. We happened to us through Urbane.
Oh yeah, Urbane.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, you can see the potential for something going pretty badly wrong. The British consulate, one of the head honchos in the British consulate, he did say, "Oh, yeah, I can tell you got a good solicitor over there because of the address they've got in Barcelona."
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And they've also got offices in Madrid. So he said, "Oh, yeah, these are legitimate people."
Yeah, this is the power of attorney because he's the proper consulate.
He was the consulate, yeah.
Because you can only do that in front of him, the power of attorney.
Okay.
So we kind of like ask several questions. Power of attorney is like...
He has to sign it off. I mean, he doesn't create the document. Someone else does that. And then he just...
Explain it to us.
Yeah, explains it to us in depth.
Yeah.
And with the dual mortgage situation that you had, that sounds quite unique. How did that work? How did that first come up as an option?
Well, because in Spain, you can't get an interest-only mortgage. It's a repayment, so you're paying off the capital. But obviously, if you put any repayment mortgage is going to cost more in monthly payments than an interest-only.
Right, okay.
So a lot of the kids, so we got a
Yeah, but
capital repayment mortgage in Spain, and a mainly, but not totally, interest-only mortgage in this country.
But the thing is, they don't, in Spain, they wouldn't give you, I think it's only 60%.
Yes,
they
it.
won't give you 100%.
Well, that's the other reason. So
you have to have another 40.
Yes, so to raise that, we've used the English, we've used some equity in our property here and remortgaged it.
Okay, fantastic. And all of that, was that your own research that you found out all of these figures and facts and things like that? Would you advise doing a lot of research before you dive into this?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you got to. Yeah, you got to. And there's good forums and websites you can go on any about buying properties, particularly in Spain, you know.
Yes, it is. It is very kind of challenging, really. But it's, you know, you're there. We're already there. Bank there. You know, so it's easy for us to, if we wanted to sell this property, we could, you know, move to somewhere else in the same.
Yes, you could. Yeah.
If it's too small for us, or.
Yeah, I mean, having a bank account over there, we've chosen Santander, and they're very good, and that's
another one, because our banker, she would really, you know, help me.
She was helpful when we went up to the branch, and her emails are very frequent. She answers questions.
Yes, I get. This is the trouble as well with the bank there, because I've got the online, because they're all in Spanish. Obviously, it's so difficult because Santander doesn't have. It's a different entity, the UK and Spain. So online, there no English unless you do Google Translate, and that only means I could translate whatever it is on that online, and I've managed to lock myself out every single time. You know, all the passwords and everything. I mean, our person there would, you know, just kind of like help me every single time.
Yeah, so having a good contact. Well, there's loads of advice that you've given. I just want to end by briefly talking about life in the city, really. So what do you love most about owning a property in Spain?
Well, particularly in Barcelona, I love the fact that you walk around. The food is fantastic. I mean, it really, really is. I mean, I've never been to a city that has so many restaurants, you know, per square metre. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, I deal with the restaurant trade in London, but you go into central London, even in Soho, you don't have that kind of intensity throughout the whole of the city. There's so much choice and competition, and reasonably priced too. I would say eating out there, certainly buying wines and things like that, and
wines,
so much cheaper.
And not only that, because it is very close, as I said, we're very close to, you know, south of France, really. So I think Barcelona for me is like, if you go that way, it's close to France. If you go down, it's close to Portugal, really. And then if you go up, you can go skiing. So it kind of, isn't it?
Yes, it's very centrally located in generally in Europe. It's a very good location.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you guys are absolutely loving it, which is great to hear, and that we've reached the end. Have you got any final tips that you would give to anyone doing the same thing that you were doing a year ago?
No, but I'd recommend Urbane. I mean, I think because Urbane are dealing with not just English, they're dealing with European clients. You know, they kind of know what they want. Yeah. You know.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Well, fantastic. I'm glad it worked out so well for you guys, and enjoy your trip.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening, and thanks to Juliet and James for sharing their experiences, along with Be Urbane for their help to make this episode possible. I particularly like the sound of that tapas, and how important it seems that throughout the buying process, you have a good personal connection with your agent. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. This podcast is produced by Kyero.com, and our mission is to connect you with estate agents and properties throughout Spain. Whether your dream home is a rustic farmhouse surrounded by olive groves or a lock-up and leave apartment on the seafront, you'll find everything you need at Kyero.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd really appreciate your 5-star rating on iTunes. It helps us reach and connect more people with their dream home in Spain. And whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways we can help you. Ask a question by emailing beth@kyero.com. We'll try and answer them all in an upcoming Q&A episode. Get a location guide also by emailing beth@kyero.com. We'll reply with the latest data and information on the areas you're interested in. Calculate your budget. Simply visit kyero.com/budget, enter 2 numbers, and you're done. Be our guest. If you've already purchased your home in Spain, we would love you to share your story on the podcast. Just email beth@kyero.com and we'll take it from there. Tune in next week when I speak with George, a former music teacher from Southampton. He purchased a house just outside of Valencia and, after retiring from teaching last year, decided to relocate permanently to the Spanish countryside. I'm Beth Davison, and you've been listening to the Kyero.com Spanish Property Podcast. I'll see you next week.